and gentlemen, welcome back to the Nosebleed Seats. I'm the Neck Conservative Crime Fire. This is part 2 of our interview with the promoter of Rampage Championship Wrestling, Frank Reed.
Thanks again, Crime Fire. Glad to be here.
There's a certain history with your ring. Can you tell us about that?
The ring has been in existence, as far as I know, since at least 1983. It was built by Jeff Jarrett's father. The ring was brought up by a wrestler by the name of Wild Roy Ox for the First Class Wrestling Organization is the name of it. And he bought the ring, and I rented it for my first show. And then I ended up buying the ring when Wild Roy Ox, the promoter wrestler, decided to get out of the business. So yeah, that wrestling ring has been around a long, long time. It's heavy. It's not one of these light rings. It doesn't move around. We've replaced the wood on it probably 4 or 5 times in 20 plus years. The ropes, pads, everything. And that ring's got a lot of history. Once again, it's got a lot of names over the years that have been in that ring. I kind of mentioned that last week and didn't even finish. You know, Brody, of course, Abdullah the Butcher, the Von Erichs, Chris Adams, Terry Bam Bam Gordy, the Bushwhackers, Honky Tonk. The real honky tonk,
not the kid.
No, the real honky tonk. Ivan Koloff. You know, Greg the Hammer Valentine. I mean, that ring has had a lot, and of course, Kane and Trevor Murdoch or Jethro Holiday has had them all in the ring. So that ring has a lot of history to it, and you know, it's just kind of neat knowing that that ring has held some of the veterans in it and got a lot of young talent in that ring too.
Is there any wrestler in Central Southern Illinois or Missouri that you would like to bring in that you've not had a chance to?
I'd like to bring Dingo. I mean, like I said last week, I haven't really even seen him wrestle since 2000.
Not even on tape?
I've seen him on tape. No, I've seen him on tape.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, he's not the same person he was, because we all aren't. In 2000, I mean,
he's got that giant tattoo on his back.
Oh my God, he is. You know, he's built himself up. And he's accomplished a lot of things and made himself a very credible wrestler. And that too, in 2000, he was just a young, brash, young man starting out, and he wrestled as, I can't remember his name now.
I think it was Dingo Machete.
No, it wasn't even that. Dingo wasn't even in the picture yet. No, that creation came, I think, much later. I can't even remember now. Yes, hang on. Oh, it was Johnny Hardcore. Johnny Hardcore.
That was his original
Johnny Hardcore.
name.
Johnny Hardcore. That was his name. Yep, that was his original name.
And now he's the IWA Mid-South Heavyweight Champion.
I'd really like to see him perform in person and work for the organization a couple of. Wow, that'd be awesome.
Okay. Is there a dream match you'd like to see that's never been held? Or would you book it?
Independent-wise or
around here?
Wow. Honestly, my real dream is to have 3 rings.
World War III? Like WCW did?
The center ring is a cage. 2 rings on the side, regular rings. Independent, just a super spectacular card that included nothing but independent wrestling. 4, 3, 2, 5 organizations competing in this in a wrestle extravaganza.
Well, wait a minute. You had 3 rings side by side with the cage in the middle. What kind of match would you do with that? I don't think...
I would like to... You know, you've always heard about kids going to see a 3-ring circus. 3 rings going at all times. You know, I don't know.
So you had 3 matches going on in each of the 3 rings.
Do a gigantic extravaganza with as many feds that want to come in for a benefit for the greatest cause that these organizations should come up with to benefit a family or a foundation or something in Illinois. I would like to be part of promoting something like that. Does it matter who comes in?
What if crowd could full 3 matches at the same time?
Wouldn't it be fun?
The camera crew would have a heck of a time. I only got 1 camera here.
You know, no, my whole real idea is honestly to have a super card with all sorts of different feds involved, and it's not about Fed versus Fed. It's about for a great cause, and it's for the talent of Western, Southern, Central Illinois all being displayed to independent wrestling. I think it'd be a great dream. I really do. And it's not just a Fed, it's for a benefit, for a worthy cause, and then of course to help promote your Fed, and then pass out where your shows are to be. independent wrestling fans would come from all over. It'd be just like the old WrestleMania for the big guys. This would be something that I think independent wrestling could really put a mark on in the Illinois area. Got to find a big venue.
All right, folks, if you heard this idea that he just conveyed to us, please write to us and tell me if you would attend such a show.
There you go. There you go.
At myspace.com, the nosebleed seats. What are your current thoughts on the St. Louis wrestling scene at this point in time?
Well, once again, I moved over here to Illinois. I'm kind of out of touch with the St. Louis wrestling scene. But once again, as we touched on last week, of course, is the regulations of that really, really tough right now over there, and a lot of Missouri wrestling not being done, you know, because of the rules, and a lot of them coming over here. Wrestlers, there's a lot of wrestlers that for some reason cannot get their license for whatever the regulations are, and that they can't get them, so they just say, the heck with it, they come over here to Illinois. And really, that's a disservice to independent wrestling fans in Missouri, and they're all over. I mean, I've been to all the towns: Poplar Bluff, Dexter, Gate, Sykes, Boonville, you know, Hannibal, you know, Moberly, all these towns, and these towns are not Kansas City, Odessa, Missouri. Great show we did there with the midgets and that, but all these towns now are missing the Missouri wrestling because the restrictions are really tough. And granted, like I said last week's show, you got to have rules and regulations. But I think right now Missouri's gone really overboard, and I don't understand why. I mean, is it all a money issue, or is it the power control that they can do this to the little guys, but they can't do it to the big guy? So let's put our thumb down on the little guys.
Well, the thing is, the regulations came before the Crispin Law tragedy, so
very much so. Very much so.
I don't know if that's inflamed things.
But once again, they're not really putting the thumbs down, I don't think, on the big guys. I mean, they can't, because let's be honest, money talks. With the little guys here, they can't. They can tell us what to do, or tell the promoters in Missouri what to do and how to do it and when to do it. And if you don't do a show. So, I don't know. I'd like to think not, because Mr. Lukanoff, Tim Lukanoff, is a pretty fair man, and I've had some good experiences with him in the past year.
Who's that?
Tim Lukanoff, the chief administrator in Missouri, for the Missouri licenses for wrestling.
The Missouri
out of Jefferson, out of Jefferson City. He's the main man, and you know, he's done me a few favors over the years. Sometimes, once again, they help promote, or he helped me out in a few spots that I had problems with, and that. And I'm sure if you do it the right way, he helps you. But once again, he's got rules to follow too.
That would be a fair statement to say that, and this is the hard question.
Okay.
It would be a fair statement to say that you've always had an aura of controversy surrounding you.
Yeah, sounds
over the years. You haven't always been held in high regard in the St. Louis wrestling scene. Without mentioning names, especially one, what would you have done differently if you had to go back and change things?
If I had to go back and change things, I'd have probably done one wrestling show with Brody and Abdullah and not do anymore.
Okay, some people applaud.
but if I wouldn't have done any more shows, a lot of young people would not have had their opportunity. Glenn Jacobs would have probably went on someplace and got his opportunity to wrestle, aka we know who. But then once again, there was a reason, whatever the reason was, for me to get involved. And controversy always forms somebody that maybe is doing something, possibly sometimes successfully, sometimes a little different, sometimes, jealousy, sometimes just because they take me as a jerk. And maybe sometimes if I used to be, I know I was, before a show I was a really pressured, stressed person about shows and that. Because you know what you have to make, pay the rent, pay the bills, pay the guys, and you stress sometimes really, really much. It's a very stressful thing to do. You know how it is paying your own bills and that, and your family and your life. But pay the wrestling bills are even tougher in that. And sometimes you go in, and if you do something a little different, people kind of step back and look and go, what is he doing and why is he doing that? And he did it, we didn't. And controversy is always going to come all the time. And right now, kind of resurgent right now, and going to try it again. This is my last ride. I'll ride this out for a few more years and not try to redeem anything or that, because you can never go back.
And you tried to retire a few times.
Yeah, I tried to retire. You know, I'm not really retired yet. I got a few more years left. There's a lot more talent I want to see, and once again, maybe that dream match will happen. You know,
and maybe you'll book the match.
Yeah, and maybe I might find another person that maybe you'll go on. You know, you never know. You never know who you're going to meet when you're out promoting the show. You never know who you're going to meet that comes to the show in the ring, out of the ring as fans too, because that fan that you might meet might know about a benefit or help you get connections to do another show, or might know somebody who wants to do it. You never know who you're going to meet, and you always got to try to treat them with respect best you can. And once again, sometimes people take things the wrong way. Before shows, I used to be really, really a bad guy to be around. Now, what the heck, man? I'm here. I want to have as much fun as the young guys do. And if you got to take a few lumps now and then to have fun, you know. There used to be a guy that come to all the shows, Harry White. He was kind of like you were, and he was a connoisseur, we call it St. Louis wrestling. And his comment was, you know, I never got mad at any Frank Reed's show. I would never read a book or anything because you never know what the heck's going to happen. But one thing, I could put my watch and count when the show's not over to Frank Reed gets beat up. And that's just part of it. You do what you got to do for the show and have fun doing it. And controversy, always going to be there. Probably even be there right now.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're at the favorite part of my interview. Mm-hmm. Word association.
Word association. Don't say Lucky O'Shea.
I'm not. WWE.
WWE.
Whatever comes to mind.
Over the top.
TNA.
Trying to get over the top.
Are they already there? Is that why nobody's watching their show?
I don't know. What happened? Did they go off TV? Because I can't find them on TV dial right now.
They are, but the rating's been flat for ever since they got to 2 hours. They said, oh, well, we didn't have enough time to put on a good wrestling show. Well, they got 2 hours. They still aren't.
They still aren't, yeah. Maybe overexposure? I don't know. Okay.
Ring of Honor. Did you ever get a chance to go to the...
No, I wanted to, and I was very disappointed that I missed it because of my work obligations for my family and that. But Ring of Honor hold in high regard. It really did.
LWA. You do some of the folks from that organization on their shows?
Yes. Explosive is what I've heard about them. It's high-flying, exciting, young wrestling, the new style, and what people seem to want to see.
MECW.
Do what?
Metro East Championship Wrestling.
I think they have
the river.
Right. I think they have the potential to do something. I think, unfortunately, they're in a building that is not really conducive for wrestling at all.
Ceiling's too low?
Very, very low. And
well, this ceiling was too low.
Yeah, it was, definitely.
In fact, one side of the ring, you had to watch your head because there was a ceiling fan in your
way. I mean, you have those places that you get, but you don't want to make those constant venues and that. But I think there's a lot of talent, and I've seen those guys. But I think they're limited to what they can do because of their facility.
MMWA, SICW, and they're celebrating the 50th anniversary of Wrestling at the Chase.
How can you fault anything that South Broadway do? They've got a built-in crowd every time they go down there. It's a sold-out, packed place. Tony Costas has got the place. And I mean, any promoter, I think, would love to have that building. There's no disrespect to Tony, but I think any promoter could probably possibly fill that building. And of course, with the training center and the guys, it's built-in success. Built-in success.
Full throttle wrestling.
Full throttle wrestling. I haven't seen any of their shows. There's 2 or 3 people on there that I know that started with me and that. I do have a certain amount of respect for them. I gave them their chance and their opportunity. I'd like to have the opportunity to work with a couple of them again. That's about all I can say about that.
The question is, will they let them work with you?
Don't know. I had them. They worked with me on my last 2 anniversary shows and my birthday shows 2 years ago, and then last year as well. And you know, can't say anything about them except they're people that love wrestling. But you know, I'd like to have the opportunity to do something with them again.
High voltage wrestling.
Sounds exciting. Anybody that's got future working for you has got to be excited. I'm hiring
and Rick Fuller. And
yes, very, very competent people too. Once again, they're in a small venue too, and they need to open up the gates and maybe get involved in this fantasy dream match idea I got.
You ran at the River's Edge complex a lot.
Yes. Yeah. Actually, we were the one that first started there. We were the one that first started at the River's Edge, and it served the purpose in that. Right now, it seems like everybody's wrestling down there, and once again, that's an overload of wrestling in one facility, I think.
WLW.
Harley Race, what can you say? He's got the connections. He's the man. I mean, he really is. I mean, if somebody wants to get promoted to bigger and better things and have the talent, that's where they got to go.
Gateway Championship Wrestling. Do you miss it?
I miss Big Ben. I really do.
He is actually in the crowd tonight.
I know he was. He and I exchanged some pleasantries. I'll tell you a real quick story about him. You want to hear a story now?
Yeah.
Good story this time. He had wrestled with me for a couple years. He had left South Broadway. He was in our room when we had our first son, Melanie and I, when we had Randy 11 years ago. And he told me, holding my 11-year-old, my son, who was at Mark, that he was going to start his own wrestling organization. And I said, well, good luck. And he said he had a ring, he didn't have a trailer. His first show was in Mexico, Missouri coming up. I said, you need my trailer? I'll let you use my trailer to haul you in. Yeah. And he went on and he did a fairly very good job with the organization. From my understanding, he's been out of it now 2 or 3 years. But once again, he never relieved wrestling. And he might resurface and come back. Who knows? It never leaves your blood.
New Midwest.
New Midwest. I have a lot of respect for the talent that they have. They have a lot of talent. They just seem to not have it all meshed together. I mean, they've got a lot of things that I would like to have. And number one, it's the young, enthusiastic talent that looks like the new breed of wrestlers today. And
well, New Breed's a separate organization.
Yeah, right. That's another organization. But I think that's an organization in a town, Springfield, Illinois, that can explode, is ready to explode, and it needs something to bring it together to do that.
No, I'm trying. I can only do so much. The show airs in Springfield, but the turnout is been difficult of late.
But it's any place like that.
Matt Seidel, did you ever work for the Review?
Oh gosh, way back when. Way back before the Review, maybe 1 or 2 times. And once again, a lot of these guys that have been in the business 5, 6, 7 years, at one time sooner or later, they wrestled. You know, not too much to say. Young man, exciting in that, and went on. He's doing great for himself right now.
Daisy Hayes. And I need to ask you, who was this Hazy Daisy ripoff?
Another wrestler and person that wanted an opportunity, so forth and so on. And once again, I give everybody the opportunity. I wish I could have had you in the locker room to hear my talk with everybody. I give everybody the opportunity to create their own character and their own gimmick, if you want to say that, and give them the opportunity to explore and go with it. Some work, some succeed, some don't, some bomb. Once again, that was a one-time shot.
Daisy Hayes, thoughts on hers?
Talent. What can you say?
Mischief. Still holds the Triple Crown.
What's wrong with that? No, she's the woman. She's the woman. Yeah.
Delirious.
Only seen one time. On tape.
Really?
Not even in person.
He's the head trainer for Ring of Honor.
I know that. And see, this is once again, when I left St. Louis and moved to Illinois, I kind of got out of the wrestling scene for a while. And now getting back in, a couple years, 3 years, honestly, being out of the scene, lost a lot of contact with people.
Kevin Thorne.
Exciting young man. He really is. I like his talent. I like his personality. Outside of the ring, even in that, he's done a couple really successful matches with us. I think him in Montana, and maybe Wicked will get him out. I hate Wicked.
Well, it looks like Thorne versus Wicked in a casket match might be up his alley.
That might be up his alley, Yeah, I like Kevin Thorne. Good person, good talent, and I think hopefully he'll be back on track and get things going positive for himself.
Bob Orton. Cowboy Bob Orton.
Cowboy Bob Orton. I like Bob. One real quick story. He's a great guy. I mean, always worked shows for me. I remember the first time he worked for me before the match. I went to him. His envelope was pay. He goes, "What's that?" I said, "What's your pay?" "You don't give me the pay till the show's over. I might go in the bathroom and slip and fall and can't wrestle." That's what he said.
Wow.
Can't ask for any better than Cowboy Bob.
Greg the Hammer Valentine, he's worked for you.
Yes, he has. Doesn't say much. Comes, does his thing, takes his paycheck, gets about it. The crowd still enjoys seeing him, but once again, doesn't say much, not much interaction with him at all.
Bud Chaplin, the promoter of National Wrestling Coalition, who passed away earlier this last year.
Bud Chaplin and I crossed paths many years ago, and actually it was when I did my first Illinois show way back in. Well, Glenn Jacobs was still with me. We're doing a show in Edwardsville.
And he's working for him too.
Yeah. We're doing a show in Edwardsville, or we're scheduled, some connection, friend calling. I didn't have an Illinois promoter's license. This was when Illinois was, and got a hold of Bud Chaplin, rented his license, and came. And I met him. He was a really, really nice person. Out of the ring, very nice man. And when I heard about it, it was, you know, a loss, not just for independent wrestling, but once again, he was a really good person.
Harley race.
Harley, you know, what can I say about Harley? I mean, he came, I remember the first time I had Harley services, he was a special guest referee for us at the Calvin Theater in Washington, Missouri. And, you know, what can you say about Harley? He's the man, he's the king, and he's got things going really great right now for the talent in Missouri, and anybody that wants to go to his academy.
Pierre Abernathy.
Oh,
I think he's worked for you.
Yeah, he has a few times, and of course he worked for the dysfunctional group that's not even wrestling now. What was it?
Submission Squad is who he's with now. Teaming with Evangelistico, although formerly known as the European Union.
Keep them away from the foreign exchange. What a mess that would be, wouldn't it? Gee, really?
Evangelistico wants to know if a tape exists of his match with the Honky Tonk Kid.
Yeah, I kind of was briefed on that earlier, and yeah, there is a match of the Honky Tonk Kid, which is really the Honky Tonk Senior Citizen. There is a match, and I remember it well. It was in Bethalto.
Is there a tape?
Yes, there is a tape, and that was in Bethalto Knights of Columbus, I believe it was.
All right, we gotta get a tape of that.
Okay.
Let's see it.
All right.
Brandon Espinosa.
Wow. I'll tell you what, this is an exciting young kid, and when I was running my first birthday show, I had him on it, and then after that, he just kept calling me. When's your next show? I want to work for you. You know, very talented man, very persuasive, got all the talent to go places and that. Exciting, good-looking kid, that's what the women want to see.
Steve Montana.
Wow.
48 years old, he's still going.
Steve Montana, I've been in business 20 plus years too. Fantastic shape, fantastic. Been a personal friend of mine over the years too. You know, I've been through a lot of stuff together. Have a high regard and respect for Steve and that. But once again, sooner or later, yeah, you might have to step
He throws really hard punches.
Whoa, there's nothing. I don't want to hit that one. If I had to pick one guy to be with me in a barroom fight, him, Big Ben, Trevor Rhodes, I'd take all three of them.
You probably needed them for webinars tonight. Matt Taylor.
Oh gosh, Matt Taylor.
I don't know if I should have thrown his in because
Matt Taylor. I mean, man, you can see some tapes of old Matt Taylor. He was a young, skinny little kid looking into a little gym I had down in North Broadway in Baden, Missouri, looking in the window like this. Come on in, kid. And we gave him the name Matt Taylor because he looked like Opie Taylor. Yeah. A lot of stories about Matt Taylor, I can tell you. A lot of stories.
Oh no, I don't want to hear from him. Dangerous Derek Davis.
Who?
Derek Davis.
Who? Derek, call me. How many years has it been? That's all. I'm not on the computer.
Rick Ruby, his partner, or former partner.
Rick.
What was the name of the team? Because I can't remember what.
Brutality Inc.
There we go.
Rick Ruby. I'll have to show you a picture of Rick Ruby when he was a white-haired rock and roll Rick Ruby and weighed maybe 190 pounds.
Cade Seidel. He's worked for you.
Yes, he has. Way back when. I haven't
I think
seen him.
he's moved back in the area.
Yeah, he's back in the area from what I understand. Once again, at that time, a young, very slender young man trying to get into business. That gave him his opportunity. Boom, 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 boom.
He did a lot of wrestling down in Oklahoma.
Yeah, when he moved.
Texas.
When he moved. That's right.
Sage Ramsey.
Exciting, fan favorite, wherever he goes. Could he ever turn heel? Yeah, I doubt it.
Yeah, maybe. He has before. Stephen Bishop.
He's a role model.
We interviewed him a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, he's a role model. I don't know what he's a role model of, but he's a role model.
Blake Steele.
Wow, I like him. Very excited to have him. He's a couple shows and that. He's got a lot of talent. He goes all over the area too. Good performer.
Doug O'Shea.
Anger management courses.
Chris Sins.
Anger management courses.
Mephisto. Even more angry.
Yeah, man, I'll tell you what. He's never worked for me. I've always tried to give him an opportunity, but it's never worked out for various reasons. But I think he has, and I've heard he's going to training and that he can wrestle now. He just needs to get his stuff together because he could possibly maybe develop something.
Stephen Kennedy.
He started with me too. From what I understand, he's turned into quite a performer as well right now. respect for him as a wrestler and a person.
Damian Blade.
Damian Blade. He's been overseas and wrestled overseas with Pat Tanaka and that. And anybody that's done that kind of wrestling, you got to have a certain amount of respect for him. I do have respect for him.
The Searcher. Let's have to run through the rest of these real quick.
Okay, let's do it real quick. Searcher, a lot of talent. Wish he'd work with other organizations.
Jeremy Wyatt. Current LWA heavyweight.
He's quite a wrestler right now, too, I think.
The Beast.
U-Bird. That's all I'm going to say. U-Bird.
Oh boy, this is real controversial. The Teacher, Sam Shelton. What happened?
When that finally all came out, I couldn't believe it myself. I really couldn't. Nice young person, but once again, everybody has a snapping point, whatever it is. And you and I could be talking about things, and you just don't know. Everybody's mind can only hold so much, and sooner or later, everybody's different. And he just, unfortunately, did the wrong thing at the wrong time.
Yeah. Jeremy Lightfoot.
Wow. Jeremy traveled the road with me in 1997 as a 16-year-old. I think Jeremy's a great, great young person.
Shaft.
I like him. I like him. Great guy, good grin, good smile, always comes over, shakes my hand. I think he's a great person.
Brian James.
What can you say about the Bomb? 1996, started with me as a 160-pound, skinny little kid.
Darian Frost.
Wow, all the potential in the world. He's ready to go places, no doubt.
And I'll just throw this last one, Honky Tonk Kid.
Honky Tonk.
Is it true he doesn't know how to do a monkey flip?
Honky Tonk.
That's what I've been told.
I've been trying to find him. So Honky Tonk, if you're out there, call me. You know, you got Al Stevens' old suit. I mean, that's Al Stevens who used to manage
Lee Stevens?
Yeah, Al Stevens, not Allie Stevens. There was an Al Stevens, and I'll have to get you a tape and show you what this guy looked like and show you some of the antics he did. He was the most wildest manager there.
I'll throw this last one. Allie Stevens.
Allie Stevens, Steve Sharp, a.k.a. Steve Sharp. He was a great heavyweight champion for RCW. I mean, great personality, great charisma, good wrestler. What can you say, Steve Sharp?
Well, we've come to the end of the interview, so now the question is, where can wrestlers go if they want to be booked for Rampage Championship Wrestling?
Well, I'll tell you what, Cranny, the announcement is, in about a week, Rampage Championship Wrestling is going to have a website. You're going to be the first one to know it. You're going to get it, so they can pop, go into that.
And ladies and gentlemen, here's the website. There you go. Look at it.
It's coming.
Brand spanking new.
Brand spanking new. And Crime Fighter is going to be the first one to get it. And it's not only going to be telling you about what's going on now, where we're going in that, but it's going to have a lot of stuff about the past. A lot of pictures. And once again, I got tapes and tapes and tapes that we're going to put together, I think, like you said last time, the best of RCW, the worst of RCW, or talent that has worked for us.
Yeah, we got some worst of RCW tonight.
Or the untalented wrestlers, and put them out there, because I'll tell you what, you might see even a Damian Blade sitting in the crowd. Not even a wrestler. You never know, because everybody starts, I want to be a wrestler. And everybody looks for that promotion to give them the chance and the opportunity. And that's what promoters need to do, give them the chance and opportunity.
All right, Frank.
Thank you again,
Thanks for having me down here.
Yeah.
Been wanting to do this for a while, and you're just looking for an opportunity to make the road trip with all this stuff going on.
I know, and I'm glad you came down. Sorry the crowd wasn't too powerful tonight, but man, they enjoyed yourself. They had a great time. That's what it's all about, independent wrestling. Put on the best show you possibly can for that night, because you don't know if you're coming back, and you don't know if those fans are coming back. So put on the best possible show you can for that night with the talent that you have. All right.
This is Mad Conservative Crime Fighter. Who knows who will be in the chair next week, but...
Lucky O'Shea?
No. Check out the MySpace page, myspace.com, the Nosebleed Seats. For more information, send your questions and comments. We will see you next time.